Well, you've brought up deportations in this interview.
Yeah.
How can you implement deportations, and do you think the public will have the appetite, the stomach for watching deportations on their television screen?
Well, the second part of that question is so great and so tough, because the radical left is going to start saying, "Oh,
Absolutely.
look, so you'll get rid of 10 really bad ones, and one, beautiful mother who they think is guilty of something, and maybe she is, maybe, and it'll become a story, or a family that's a good family and came in wrong, and they're going to show it." Then it's going to always be tough. It's not going to be easy, and we have to use a lot of good judgment. But the way you get rid of them is the local police. The local police know these people by their first name, their middle name, and their last name. The local police are great. They're just not allowed to do their job. They're afraid of losing their pension. They're afraid of losing their wife or husband. They're going to lose their house. They're losing everything. And one of the things I'm doing is giving local police immunity from prosecution. They get prosecuted. When they do their job, they get, like your soldiers, when they do their job, when they watch department stores being raided by 500 people, well, guys are walking out with television sets and they're told to stand back, okay? They're told to stand back, do not do anything. And they go into these stores, these big stores that have, opened 2 years ago, and they spent $25 million to build a store. And the stores are empty down to the shelves. They even take the shelves out. They take everything. And the cops are standing there. They don't want to be standing there. They want to do their job. You know who's great? The Border Patrol. The Border Patrol, I know them so well. They endorsed me. They always endorse me. They said when Trump comes back, it'll all be better. And Biden, by the way, he doesn't need any legislation. He could say the word, close the border. That's what I did. I said, close the border. And it was so bad that it took a little while. I fixed the border originally. That's how I got elected in a way. But now the border is, and I fixed it, and I couldn't even use it in 2020. In 2016, it was a big factor of my win. I fixed it very quickly, and then in 2020, it was so good. I said, let me talk about the border. My people over here, all these geniuses said, please, sir, don't talk about the border. It's fixed. I said, let's talk about it. But nobody wanted to hear about it. Right. But now the border is 100 times worse than it was in 2016.
Yes.
And you mentioned Will asked about deportations, and you mentioned local authorities having more power. What do you do in sanctuary locales? Because so much of that is, they can't even talk to ICE, let alone work with ICE. If you're going to deport 5, 7, 10 million illegals, it's going to require a lot of
the people and even the politicians don't want sanctuary cities. They really don't. I've spoken to many people in California, and they're fed up. They're fed up. They can't take it anymore. They don't want it. Even liberal Democrats, they don't want it anymore. You have to end sanctuary cities. I mean, they're guarding criminals. They're guarding people that are killing people, and you can't get to them. And guys like Gavin Newsom he's a disaster. He's running it so badly. It's so badly run. And I watched him on Sean Hannity's show with that debate, and he'll talk like everything's wonderful. It's great. Go California. It's not. It's doing terribly.
Right.
It's doing terribly, but somebody has to call him out. They have to call him out. But the job of sanctuary cities it's just so horrible for our country.
I have another question on the border.
Yeah.
So in just this fiscal year 2024, there's been 74,000 unaccompanied children that have come across the border. In 2023, get this number, 137,275. You've seen the images of these children, 5, 7 years old, 9 years old, 12 years old. And the Joe Biden administration has lost 80,000 of them. No one can track, no one knows where they're at.
At least, much more.
At least, there's probably more, but at least. Will the Trump administration commit to finding these children, to finding them and returning them to their families, to their countries, because many of them have been lost into sex trafficking.
Many of them are dead.
It's heartbreaking.
No, it's heartbreaking. It's amazing.
Will you commit to that? Will you commit to finding those children in their
I haven't been asked that question, but the answer is yes. It's a simple answer. Many of them are dead. They have done such a bad job. They have done such a bad job. And they go under the guise that they're doing this wonderful job of letting people come in. It's also really bad? The caravans. I think I came up with that name a long time, but where you form 25, 30, 40,000 people coming up. the level of abuse and just anger and craziness toward women.
Yes.
I mean, the caravans, the mothers put their daughters in those caravans, knowing in many cases the daughter's not coming back, knowing for almost certainty that the daughter's going to be raped.
Yes.
Yeah. They give them large, like bottles of birth control pills, the mothers, because they know they're going to be raped on the way up all the time.
It's unconscionable.
No, the whole thing is incredible. And Biden thinks he's doing a favor by allowing. And the only reason they have the caravans is because I ended it all. People weren't getting in. We had the lowest number ever, the final week the lowest number that we've ever had, recorded number of illegal immigration. I had it down. Caravans anymore. You had them when I came in. You didn't have them anymore. It was really good. All he had to do is go to the beach and let my people do the job. Just let them stay and remain in Mexico. I had a policy. You think that was easy to get? Will, getting remain in Mexico from the president, who's a great guy. He's actually a great guy, but he likes Mexico. He doesn't like us. Okay? Tijuana was a mess. Tijuana had to be the fastest growing city. They had hundreds of thousands they couldn't come into our country until we approved them, and we didn't approve too many of them. Very seldom did we approve anybody. But they gave up all that stuff that I had. Catch and release, I called it catch and release in Mexico. We catch and release in this country. We'd catch a killer, know that he's a killer, and release him in our country. I mean, who would do this? Who would allow this? So we ran a great thing. If he went to the beach because somebody convinced him that he looks good in a bathing suit, and at 81 or 82, typically you don't look too great. And he didn't have the power to lift those chairs. Those chairs weigh about 6 ounces. They're meant for children and old people to carry. And he couldn't, and he can't carry it anyway.